Hey there, what's happening? We are live on the SideQuest
Oh
on
boy,
a thir- set Sunday edition of
Sunday. Yeah.
the side a Mortis edition, and we'll get into that in a little bit here. Um, yes, I am Dolly Demofsky. Joining me, this lovely human being, JJ Holder.
Yeah.
More like Wrestle Nightmare. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. JJ, tell us why it's a Wrestle Nightmare.
I went to AEW Wrestle Dream 2024 last night, and I witnessed the death of
Ooh.
professional wrestling. And no.
I gotta say that was it's AEW does genuinely put on the best wrestling
Yeah.
pay-per-view. Like they're
Well,
fantastic.
thing, it's like when it's their pay-per-view time, it's just
Yeah.
like they don't have to write the drama.
Yeah.
It's
They
mostly
don't really do a good job of it. So yeah.
yeah. Um, Although it sounds like one of the main reasons for that is no longer going to be
Is
with the
yeah.
company anymore. So
They're gone.
uh,
Yeah. Okay.
uh, not Brian Danielson, but
No, no.
Jimmy Jacobs is apparently gone, and he's been
Yes.
sort of a
Yeah.
major problem with the writing. So that'd be interesting. But yeah, no, yesterday was a phenomenal show. It's just from pillar to post, great matches.
Mm-hmm.
Got to see the Outrunners live, which made me
Oh,
very excited.
they are
Uh,
so freaking good. They're late 80s, early 90s
they,
wrestling, and it's the
they're the
best.
youngest men alive, baby.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude.
Turbo
Cool.
Floyd, and yeah.
What time did the whole show end? Your time?
9
Yeah.
p.m. my time.
So wow, so midnight Eastern. That's nice.
Yeah.
Usually they don't. Usually they'll be done by like 11-ish, 11:15, 11. But
Yeah.
they had a lot of matches. Like there were some matches on that card that I didn't realize were happening even after.
Well, like, especially if you're going to it live, you get
Yeah.
0 hour, which
Yeah.
is an hour before the show starts, and they pepper in like 4 matches on that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then the main card, and it's just like, yeah, it's just crazy. It was crazy experience all
Good.
around.
Good.
This is the second Wrestle Dream, and both of them have been like in my backyard, so
That's awesome. Yeah.
I'm just
Quite
assuming it's
quite
going to be like,
literally, JJ has a
yeah,
huge backyard.
yeah. So I'm just going to assume that like this is going to like next year's has to be in the state again. I don't
Uh-huh.
know.
Uh-huh.
Well,
I think
because last year was so it's so funny because it was like polar opposite endings. Because last year's show ended with the debut of Copeland,
yes, that's right. Yeah.
which was just crowd losing their
Uh-huh.
2 minutes, losing their stuff, and just absolutely just wild. And then you have this one where Brian Danielson loses abruptly,
Yeah.
meaning retirement time, and then they spend like the next like 15 minutes literally murdering him, like strangling him with a plastic bag, and the crowd is just
Yeah.
like quiet. It was
Really.
deathly quiet as we're all just on our feet watching all of you keep expecting like an Edge / Copeland situation, like okay, somebody big's gonna come running out or
Uh-huh.
whatever, and it's like nah, some guys run out. You get Darby coming out, but they just put a stop to that real quick. Jeff Jarrett tries for whatever
Yeah.
fucking reason. And
Orange
but
Cassidy was out there for a little bit
Orange
too, I guess.
Cassidy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, but no, we just all stood there watching them drag his limp corpse.
And that was, I mean, that's how Brian Danielson, that's how he wanted to go, man. That's
Yeah.
how he wanted it done. That was, it was all his idea, basically, right?
Oh
How
yeah,
to,
no, there's nothing that
yeah.
happens with this particular run that doesn't
Hmm.
his design. Like that's his retirement, but that's not him not wrestling anymore.
Correct.
That's like because like it is apparently he's been working without contract
Yeah.
for a significant amount of time.
Since like June or something, right? June or
Yeah,
July, or
yeah,
yeah.
like they gave him the belt,
Yeah.
knowing full
Yes, it
well
is.
that
Yeah.
yes, it is.
That he
This is
wasn't going
no,
to last this full year, anyways. Like
yeah,
I thought it was going to be the end of the year at
yeah. But I
World's
guess
End,
like
but okay.
having his last match be his last like full time
Hmm.
wrestling match of this run being in his what not hometown adjacent.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, that's how he would want to go, and you
Yeah.
know full well he's gonna have a match again.
Oh
Like
yeah.
they're gonna have some at like all in or all out like next year or whatever. He'll have his blood feud with Mox to do it and just pop up every once in a while.
Yep.
But like
He'll pull an Undertaker where he just kind of pops in every
yeah,
every
he's
stuff.
Dan, yeah, the special attraction, the American Dragon.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I think that's good.
Yeah.
He needs neck surgery, so just like
Yeah.
why not just call it here, and then that way you're not committed to working yourself to a wheelchair while you try to raise your kids, like so many wrestlers of the past had to
Right.
do. So yeah, whatever. It was a
That's it.
bummer.
Yeah.
Like it's like it sinks in after like on the ride home. Like, jeez, that's it. Huh?
That was
Wow,
that was the end.
wow. Wow. Like you could tell nobody
Yeah.
was mad. Everyone was just
Right.
like genuinely like cliffhanger stunned. Like, well, what happens next? Like
It's
what?
a season-ending cliffhanger,
Yeah.
which makes this Wednesday's Dynamite's gonna be
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
massive. We'll all be watching. I mean, in a way, that's great. It gets everybody
Yeah.
watching, and
Took
then
my
you
cousin.
know,
Yeah.
yeah.
I took my cousin
Okay,
who
cool.
he's an old head wrestling fan.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't watch new stuff. He watched some AEW when it like went up, but like
Mm-hmm.
hasn't. So it's like I'm having to explain everything to him. But he was able to figure out most of it.
Okay. Okay.
It's like what was his favorite
If they
guys
come out
were.
of that side of the stage, that's the good side. If they come out of
That's
that
I was
side, that's the
explaining.
bad.
I was explaining the heel and face tunnel
Yeah,
situation and stuff.
yeah,
And
yeah.
what was his? I think at the end of the thing, his favorites were the Outrunners, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
Takeshita,
Yes. Good win.
Osprey. He was a big
Okay.
fan of Osprey. That match, again, he's an old head. He's like, I haven't seen half the stuff ever in my life that they did in that match. It's like, yeah, man.
That was a hell of a match. They
Yeah,
had just a banger. Some great
and he was
matches. That's cool.
yeah,
That's
and he was a big fan of the Beast Mortis. So
nice. The
who
very
isn't?
old school style. Just
Yeah.
get a dude in a big old costume out
Yeah,
there.
I mean that is some
Yeah.
classic lucha nonsense
Yeah,
they
it
had going
is.
on there.
It is.
That was
What was that?
clearly
What was the old lucha show that was actually great that had like the storylines and
Lucha Underground.
Lucha Underground?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was like
if you guys
half.
haven't watched it,
That's
yeah.
like half. That was like half the focus of the SQW podcast. Back
Yes,
when we
it
were
was.
doing
Yes, it was. It was so good. It was so yeah. We gotta one day we'll get that podcast back up. Anywho, let's get into this week. We're gonna knock this one out because JJ's still retired and recovering from last night. It's been rainy all day here in Michigan and sleepy. I slept in. Let's see. I fell asleep at like 10:50 last night, and woke up at like essentially 9:15 this morning. So I've been slowly recovering. I woke up actually. Right, let me rephrase that. I fell asleep on the couch at like 10:50 or 11, whatever, and then woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning with my throat just itch, like slight itch in my throat, but enough to get me coughing. I think maybe a spider went down there. Who knows?
Yeah.
Just coughing nonstop for like 25 minutes, just constant coughing. So I'm like, I want to get to sleep. So I just took some NyQuil, went up to bed, and I was out. And then if I have NyQuil and I don't like have an alarm, I will keep sleeping, brother. Like that keeps me going, especially if I take it at like 3 o'clock in the morning. So it is. It's been a sleepy day with the rain kind of compounding that situation. So, anywho, let's get into some of the fun. I still have an annoying. Of course, I have an annoying pop up on my screen here that I can't get rid of. Whatever. Good times. Cool. Okay, y'all can see me. That's all that matters. Let's get into some of the news, and there has been a couple things of news that I do want to talk about. One is the Nintendo product that came out. Remember, so on the last episode, we spoke about, oh my gosh, there is a crazy new Nintendo product coming out that this FCC application went through. It's got a USB. It looked like a little square, maybe something you would attach onto the Switch too. Congrats, everybody! We were all wrong. This sucker's
This
an
isn't
alarm
what
clock.
that patent was for.
Nah, exactly.
That patent was clearly marked for something wearable. This is not what that patent was for.
I don't know. It might be because it had motion sensing. It has the thing. So
They
I'm
specifically mentioned wearable in that patent. So
okay. Okay. Either way, to me, this is what they were. Anyways, this is an alarm clock, Alarmo.
This is
It's
some this
yeah.
is
Go
some
ahead.
classic Nintendo bullshit, man. I'm so happy.
It really is. It's funny because so first and foremost, $99 for this sucker. But it's literally just an alarm clock that has a little like animations on it, and it has the motion sensing to the point where it knows when you're sleeping, and knows when you're awake, and it manages. So you can select these themes. You can have Mario or Splatoon or Zelda or whatever, and it will play images and music and sound effects to try to get you to wake up. So it's not like the instant that we're used to, but it starts to increase in speed, in loudness, in imagery, and then as it notices that you moving, you start stretching. Like if you're doing the Mario thing, you're stretching, you'll hear the coin sounds, letting you know that you're doing something right. And then you eventually wake up, and you don't tap a button. It just the minute you actually wake up and stand up, it knows that you are. It can shut off. It knows that you're awake. So. That's interesting to me. I thought that was kind of a cool little hook tip, but it is just a cute little freaking alarm clock. That's legit all it is. It is a Nintendo-ass product, like you said.
This is one of those things where if they said $60, I'd be like, you know what? Yeah, price of a video game, just a cute little novelty of Nintendo history to just kind of fuck around with for a minute or two, and then like never actually use it as an alarm clock because I don't need help. I don't need this kind of help. This is the problem waking up that it's trying to solve is not the problem waking up that I have. So
correct. I think everybody on the planet has a phone that they use for their alarm clock. I don't know how many people actually use a separate alarm clock anymore. All three of us in my household use our phones because it's super easy to set the timer.
I get that Pavlovian response when I'm like out in public and somebody has
the
Apple alarm for their normal alarm, like they're like getting an alert for they set a timer for something and then it goes off and I'm
for me, when that happened to me once, I'm like, am I in a dream? Am I now actually waking up? But so this is for the collector who wants to just have more Nintendo stuff in it. Because all the stuff here, there are apps that do the same exact thing. I'm surprised Nintendo didn't create an app. Whoa, what is going on there? I'm surprised.
I'm sure they've got a Switch app ready to go at any time too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's actually a Switch alarm. There's a Switch clock thing. But right now you can only buy it if you're a Nintendo Switch Online member. So you can only buy it through the Nintendo website. It'll go into retail in January. It has sold out in Japan. It is so overwhelmingly popular because Japan loves this kawaii, cute stuff that it's sold out. They've made their money, guys.
Having a Ring Fit alarm is really charming, though. Like
it kind of is, and it's also very Japan because nobody in America cares about Ring Fit, even though I still use it because it's actually a really damn good workout setup. But I mean, super easy to use. It's got this kind of soft thing on top, and it's so basic.
It's got basically a watch crown on top.
Exactly.
It's one of those things. This is for two people. This is for somebody who wants to own a Nintendo clock. And kids.
Yep. Exactly right. Exactly. That's it. That's
why
the only two very tiny parts of a Venn diagram off into the distance.
In America, at least. In America. In Japan, this is but again, it's like it only works for like single people, like it doesn't recognize multiple people in the bed kind of thing.
Exactly, and it'll only know if you it's only good if you're the last person to wake up in your house. If you're one of the first people to wake up in your house, you don't want this because whatever. But I mean, I rarely hear my wife's alarm go off because I've gotten so used to what my alarm sounds like, right? So her alarm goes off like about 30 minutes before mine does, so she can get up and get ready and get out of the house, and then then mine will go off a little bit after that. But yeah, so there you go. Sold out at the New York store, sold out in Japan. You can only get them online right now. It's Nintendo doing Nintendo things.
I wonder what the shipping is looking like for those right now in America. Like, I wonder, like,
what do you mean, like the shipping, like
how long it's actually going to take to get to us?
Oh, okay.
Like,
yeah. I am curious. Can't
wait to see them start flooding in on my Twitter timeline.
yeah. I mean, I've read a couple of reviews, and every review has been overwhelmingly positive. They're like, hey, if you need if for some reason you use an alarm clock, like this is the one to get because it's a gamer alarm clock and it's like super easy. That's basically.
Now you need one of those. You need one of those like sharper image alarm clocks where it's like the alarm goes off and the only way to turn it off is by shooting it with a gun.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you have to aim for it. Good luck having that type of aim in the morning. Yeah. Although at that point I just use a real gun. Other news that that broke, and this one is actually an interesting one, and this is. I'm going to share this. There's been a Pokemon leak. Game Freak late last week, an employee information had been stolen in a recent breach. Essentially, they put out the little they put out a statement, but we can go anywhere we want, Reddit, Central Leaks, wherever we want, but essentially a lot of information has been.
And here's the thing about a lot of the information, because people are gonna start reading things and get like misinterpret what's going on with a lot of these. Like, like we're making jokes and stuff about like there's like lore ramifications of human Pokemon hybrids and stuff, but these are just all coming from meetings. These are like a lot of meeting transcripts. You can throw out anything. It's like there's just like the logs at like Disney of like pitch meetings and things. Like anything and everything is up in the air. So it's like, just because you read something in this leak doesn't mean that it's A, canonical, B, ever gonna happen,
correct,
or seriously considered. I mean, there is a lot of stuff in here that is legitimate. Like there's some cool art and stuff, and like that's like
I know a guy who has ethical questions about this.
I mean, there's some interesting like other like
there's movie stuff, cards, there's
card art and CG stuff, and like full game concepts and stuff, because like you can look at a lot of stuff of like the Pokemon MMO situation that sort of popped up in all of this, but also like it doesn't mean that's what that game was destined to ever be.
Exactly. A lot of
like again, this is all pitch meeting stuff, and a lot of the stuff is just potential realities. It's the multiverse of Pokemon.
Yes, exactly. There was for a while there was a Detective Pikachu sequel planned, right? And the only thing that came out of this related to that was that it was going to be called The Great Detective Pikachu instead of so The Great Detective Pikachu. We don't know if that's even happening anymore, if there's a sequel. Like the whole plot was a part of this thing.
Yeah, especially since like the last one bombed, like Detective Pikachu Returns.
The last game bombed. Yeah. The movie did fantastic.
The movie did fine.
That's what I'm saying. There's
but like
the movie, there's a sequel plan to that. But that may not happen anymore.
And movies are Jesus, man. They're so fluid. If the script, if it isn't in pre-production, it may as well.
That script changes all the time. Even down to like plots. Like, hey, Marvel wipes out whole main characters. As we've seen in their in recent years. So it's a big leak, but I mean there's a lot of fascinating stuff in there. There's also personal information for employees, which sucks ass. That part is nobody should, in my opinion, nobody should be posting the employee information, right? It's like, hey, there are names, there's contact. No, that stuff should be held back, because you don't want anybody to get it's not about somebody getting into trouble. It's about something happening to somebody, their identity stolen, things like that, which happens all the time on the
Well,
internet.
and
So,
also I mean, listen, gamers are
yeah,
dipshits, man.
yeah,
Let's be
gamers are
reasonable.
dipshits.
It's
We
like
know that. Yeah,
you get the next game comes out and you're very
you're getting
unhappy
hate
with,
mail.
yeah, next thing
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and you're just like,
Threats. Yeah,
yeah, and you're just like, I was just like asset designer
yeah,
D. Like, I don't know why I'm getting cyanide in my post office
yeah.
box. Like,
Guys, I delivered coffee like 2 days in a row, and that was it.
yeah,
I worked for the confectionery company
yeah,
that was next door.
I never even made it to the games floor
Who
of
is
Game
who is
Freak.
a Pokemon?
Yeah,
Who's Pokemon? Doctor Pokemon? I don't know. But it's a big leak, and these things are
yeah,
always always super unfortunate. These leaks happen. I think the bigger question from my standpoint, we've already been talking about a little bit, is how do you report on this? Do you report the actual stuff in the leak? Well, or do you just say there was a leak? And every outlet seems to do a different thing.
yeah,
Um, I These leaks are done through if the leak is done through some nefarious way, right? Something stolen, whatever, something hacked, then to me, then you are sort of stealing something in a way. Like there are legal things to that I think um, relate to it. However, that information does eventually get out there, no matter what. Like
yeah.
what was it?
You
The
shouldn't be.
Sony leaks
Yeah,
for Spider-Man, like 10 years
yeah.
ago, 12 years
It
ago.
wasn't even just Spider-Man; it was just everything.
Everything is everything. Yeah, yeah. But I meant
Yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah.
But
So
like,
yeah.
as a journalist, you shouldn't be the one going in and trying to hack and get this
Yes,
stuff, or
yes.
being the facilitator for that kind
Yep,
of stuff.
yep. Shouldn't be
But
paying people to do it. You shouldn't be
yeah,
doing it. You
but
should be
as a
facilitating.
journalist, once it's out, it's out.
You got to
Like,
report on it.
you got to report on it. It's news. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's
But
unfortunate news. Bad
that's
news is bad news.
but it's
Yeah,
not. But at the end of the day, it's a fine line of who it's unfortunate for, because
yeah,
this isn't unfortunate to a lot of this leak isn't unfortunate to the majority of people at Game Freak and the Pokemon Company. Like, the people whose names are in there, that's who it's most unfortunate for. But like, this is just,
yeah.
I don't really care about corporate assets being
Sure,
like, it's like,
I
I
understand. I
don't
understand.
care. Yeah, it's like, because all this stuff is just locked behind lock and key for marketing purposes at the end of the day. So I don't know. It's
Um,
whatever. It is what it is. It's
yeah, yeah.
report
I
on
mean,
it. Like,
you got
IGN's
to
gonna
report on
report
it.
on it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna not talk about this,
right. Yeah.
because it's also so fucking like low on the totem pole of like shit. Like,
Well, hey,
it,
guess what, everybody? The Switch 2 is now canceled. So
yeah,
because
yeah.
this leak,
That's
the Switch 2 is now the
yeah.
next Pokemon game is canceled. They're switching. They're
Nintendo is
leaving
never
Gen
making.
10. They're
Yeah,
going right to Gen 11 or 12. They're going to
yeah,
Gen X or
yeah,
Gen Y.
yeah.
Um, so
Pokemon Zoomer
uh,
edition, and it's all
Pokemon Zoomer.
say hello to our toilet Pokemon.
um,
It has a
one
head
th-
in it.
one thing I did find interesting. Our last Nintendo story. I'm going to share
It's
this
all Nintendo
tip.
stories. That's the only people having news is
News right now.
Nintendo.
So they had a play test. They announced, or they're having a play. They announced this play test on like Tuesday or Monday or Tuesday, and said, "Hey, we're doing this October 10th, which is Wednesday, I think it was. There, you can sign
Yeah,
up and you can be
yeah,
a part of this play test, and they're going to select 10,000 people to be a part of this play test. In Japan, it's by lottery. In the U.S., it's first comes first served. Bro, I was 10 o'clock showed up. I'd been hitting refresh, refresh,
yeah,
refresh. 10 o'clock or whatever time my time hits. Is it 10 or
yeah,
11? 11 o'clock my time hits. And I hit I'm like, all right. The button finally pops up at like right at 11. I'm like, cool, apply. Too late. I'm like,
yeah,
what the fuck? It was
yeah.
that fucking fast
Yeah,
that
I
so
set
many
an
people.
alarm for
Yeah,
like 7:50 a.m. So I was kind of
yeah, yeah.
queued up. Yeah, no, there was nothing
There
for
was
it.
no chance.
Yeah,
I know a couple folks that got into it somehow. I know Wario64 somehow got into it, and a couple of my one of my friends here got into it. And Nintendo has asked to keep They haven't done a formal NDA. They're just asking people to not talk about it. Well, guess what? You're talking to a bunch of American gamers. This is
Yeah.
going to leak within seconds, probably before it shows
Yeah.
up. But I'm curious what.
Somebody's gonna accidentally get it pushed to them like
Yeah,
40
yeah.
minutes early, and it'll immediately
Now, this is the kind of leak that I'm totally okay with. Go ahead. If Nintendo says don't talk about it, you could talk about it because you didn't sign a goddamn NDA.
Yeah.
But I'm curious what this is.
Oh, I'm sure you did sign an NDA, but you just checked a box and didn't read it.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, yeah. So it's going to be on that you download an app on your current Switch.
Yeah.
And you try something on. I'm assuming this is Switch. It's obviously Switch related,
Yeah.
but I have a feeling it's going to heavily go into Switch 2 and some other
Mm.
stuff. Like, what do you think? What do you think this is? There's what we want it to be, which is
Yeah,
like
I
a
want it to be
Street
Miiverse.
Pass,
Yeah,
Miiverse, Street Pass. But what do we think it
Yeah.
is? Yeah.
Part of me feels like it's a test of some sort of cloud gaming
Mm.
situation. Because it's so specific,
Smart.
like
Good idea.
because like you keep it. It's like it's a stress test. It's clearly what this is supposed to be.
Yeah.
So it's a Switch Online. It's a stress test. It makes sense. Where like Miiverse would make no sense because it's a social aspect, and it would like, what are you going to get?
A forum. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you going to get out of a day or so of bunch of randos for all over doing stuff? But, like, because like and like. You don't need to test like virtual console bullshit.
Correct.
Like, you've got that going. It very well could be some like ARMS 2 or some nonsense. This would be a really weird way of going about it.
Sure.
But like cloud gaming is such an innocuous kind of thing to sort of dabble in and see. Like, let's see if we got like if Mario Kart is working really well over cloud stuff with our Switch 2 infrastructure or whatever. So
I believe I think you're onto it. I do believe this is sort of a cloud gaming thing, is cloud streaming, because then Nintendo has done, they do stream games. Like, their infrastructure is sort of what runs Resident Evil 2. There's like 4 or 5. Oh, there's like a ton of games.
Yeah, you got the
Hitman,
Resident Evil's, Hitman, and Control, and Kingdom Hearts.
And all those Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Let's see, games using cloud streaming technology. Let's see here. Oh, come on, I hit the wrong one there. It doesn't list it here. One of the games that use, there are a few. Kingdom Hearts. Here you go. Cloud games list. You have obviously cloud. You have Aliens Fireteam Elite. Didn't even realize that was there. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I forgot Assassin's Creed Odyssey was on there. Control, Hitman 3, Plague Tale Innocence, Forgotten City. Oh yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. Remember that one? Yeah. Pathfinder, Plague Tale Requiem, and then all those Resident Evil games, Dying Light 2, and The Medium. So those are the cloud streaming games, and I'm sure there's probably a couple more as well on there. So
I don't even really know anything about the back end of these cloud games. Like, I really don't know what Nintendo's hand is in these. I know it's not. It's like it's a company Nintendo is working through, but it is not like in-house Nintendo offering up cloud space to fucking Plague Tale. That's just not. I don't know.
But I lean towards what you're saying too. I think it's to me it is they call it a play test, but I think it is cloud streaming stuff. I think it's them taking the games they currently have, and this will be a way to play some of those games on your Switch 2, so you don't have to download them all over again. You can stream those bad boys.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
and again, it'll be like weird first party Nintendo things, or maybe it's just like it's an app that you open up that lets you like that recognizes what games you own, and like how Xbox is introducing you can now
Yep.
stream your own games that you own.
I think it's probably a little mix of both.
Yeah.
I think it'll know if you own a game
Yeah.
already, but then I also
Yeah.
think it'll be ways to access those
It'd
games.
be nice to like free up some space maybe for a little especially since like it's not like I expect the Switch 2 to be like a terabyte, really. To be honest here. It's
I
not
wonder if there's anything. Well, they didn't say any phone anything on this. I think it is strictly staying on the Switch.
It's
So
online. I mean,
yeah.
it's
So
it's internet, whatever it is. It's 100%
so it's
web internet based, whatever they're testing.
So this app, because it didn't specifically say you must own games on your thing already, your Switch already, it's going to be probably a curated list of games they already have that you can.
Yeah, it's just it'll be a bunch of it. It'll be Mario Kart, it'll be Pikmin, it'll be
Breath of the Wild,
and Splatoon 3.
No, it'll be Splatoon 2. It'll be Kirby Star Allies. And it'll be
It'll be Mario 1. No, it'll be the new Super Mario Brothers Deluxe.
Yes, the new Super Brothers Deluxe. They don't want to put those newest games on there.
For their 1 week play. They don't want to give you Tropical Freeze. Whatever long it is. It's like a week or whatever.
You ain't getting those new. You're not getting Super Mario Brothers Wonder. You're getting new Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm curious because it's the end of this month is when it's happening, right? It's October 25th or 23rd to the 5th. So 2 weeks. Sorry, you got 2 weeks there. So
and again, I have no stink. Like because it's so specifically online, like a new way to manage your save files, like what?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe a way to manage stuff through your phone. I don't know.
Because like it is Nintendo, so like you always try to think of like what's the most exciting thing, and then it'll always be like, nah, man, it was like a fitness accessory.
What's the least exciting thing? It is instead of doing jump rope, you're gonna do jumping jacks. Is all it is.
It'll be like, no, actually, it was just. You remember back in the day when you used to be able to sign up for the Xbox 360 for like beta stuff for like the operating system, and they would give you like, I remember one time like they would like, okay, we're updating the people in the previews with an update, and we're going to be all sending you a copy of like ODST because we're testing a weird new compression for our 360 games and want to see how well it works. So there you go. It's gonna be something extremely stupid like that. It's like, oh no, it's just Nintendo testing.
Right.
Testing Switch Online streaming of the NES games, so you don't have to store them locally. And can play them from.
There you go. Yeah, you can. Here's a way to play all those NES games this time without having to download the app. Now you're just going to do the actual streaming of Mario, because that 32 meg app is taking up a lot of space.
It's like the Nintendo 64 app just gets one more megabyte every couple of months. We get another.
We've done it. That's exactly what this is. This is one app that's going to have all of your. There it is. It's one app that has all of the games on it. The
instead
retro
of
games
instead of individual,
but they'll all be streamed the way God intended. So they'll all be streamed, unless you. Yeah, there we go. They're all going to be streamed directly, and that's how you play all these retro games. That way, they don't have to keep pumping out the new apps every single time. That's it. We figured it out.
This is their way, so they don't have to create a TurboGrafx app, a Commodore app, a Neo Geo app.
Right. Let's move on. Stop talking about that stuff. Oh, I'm getting tired already.
Stop talking about games and let's talk about games.
Let's talk about games. Games that we've been playing. I'm going to talk quickly about a game that I have been reviewing. So I've been reviewing a game, brand new game. No one's ever played this game before.
Nobody in the site has ever.
No one on the site has ever played this game before. Just kidding. Everybody's played this game before. It's called Faith. And if you haven't played it, please definitely definitely play Faith. But it's now on Switch. Faith Unholy Trinity is out on Switch. They brought it over to the premier video game console from 7.5 years ago. It's still Faith, but man, it feels so good on the Nintendo Switch. For those who don't know what Faith is, it's a Commodore 64 era style horror game, an indie horror game. New Blood is publishing this for the Switch, and they've done a lot of the most recent stuff with it. But it tells a story about a priest and exorcism and stuff that goes wrong and demonic. It's cool there. Don't be afraid. It's a whole bunch of demonic stuff. But it's fantastic. Like, people have played this. I've played it on the PC. The audio is great. Like, it definitely has that, like, they do a lot of voice, like a lot of voice in this, and like when you die, it says Mortis. But the way it does that sort of
the old 80s piece, like computer,
the non-sound card, synthesized using MIDI sounds to say yes, or like other times will be she is here, just weird weird stuff. But it's anyways, the game is actually an adventure game, man. Very minimal quote unquote action if you want to do this. It's just a story where you're a priest and you have a cross, and sometimes you'll have other things you got to do. There are boss battles, because there is a boss, like each of these, it has 3 episodes, and each of the episodes is like maybe about 40 minutes at most to an hour long. You can knock all 3 of these chapters out in like one sitting while you're watching a horror movie on TV. But it just holds up so well because it's so lo-fi, and it's just great. It's
cool to have a game
perfect.
That it's definitely supposed to be like 8-bit computer,
but
like isn't restrained by 8-bit computer,
right?
Like this was never going to run on your ZX Spectrum or whatever, but like but aesthetically it nails like how you remember those games to be again. Just like it's probably one of the top tier like modern horror games. It's
this has a lot of influences from other horror games, but it has already started influencing its own sort of genre of actual demonic horror in ways where it's not jump scares. It's like it's spiritual scares. It is cause and effect scares, and it really is like there's some terror level of stuff and just some of the cutscenes they use. So Faith it's a great game. Airdorf Games puts it out. New Blood's publishing it. Just if you have a Switch, and it's the time of year, it's spooky season. It's landing at the right time. I can't recommend it highly enough.
This is there's really just like definitely one of the if you're gonna play a horror game, this is definitely one of the top choices. Right now, like of modern sort of what's out there right now.
It's so good. If you got a Switch, definitely play. If you can get it anywhere, get it anywhere. They have like a bunch of different backgrounds, a bunch of different as you're playing the game, and depending on what endings, there's several endings. There's like 5 endings for the first chapter alone. As you're playing these, you can unlock backgrounds, you can unlock other things. There's just a bunch of cool stuff. So pick it up. Be afraid, be very afraid, because there are moments when you're like, God, this actually is really tense. 8-bit graphics can be really tense because they've done a good job of making the animations so like horror inducing in that kind of like there's a dude that
otherworldliness that comes with a lot of things.
There's a dude that walks on all 4s and kind of comes at you if you're not careful in like the very beginning of the game, and you have to time pulling out your cross perfectly, but the motion is great. It's jarring because it's still 8-bit, but it's great animation. Anyways, Faith Holy Trinity, it's awesome. They're also putting out I forgot to mention, they're also putting out this awesome sweet collector's box.
It's a nice collector's edition, man.
It is. Even though I have the game now on my Switch, like this is for $35 you get the game. There's standard edition. It's fan gamers.
Yeah.
But then you also get, I'm going to flip through this, like a reversible cover, which
Yeah.
is really cool. You get the newspaper clipping, which is always, I love whenever there's like newspaper clippings and stuff.
Yeah.
I have one of my favorite LucasArts games from the old days is Zach McCracken and the Alien Mindbenders, and they put a whole newspaper in there, which I thought, and I still have that paper, and it's still awesome. I think there's PDFs of it out everywhere, but this is always cool. An Acolyte book. This is great. Here is the map of chapter 1.
Yeah.
So basic, it's awesome. But this brings back check it out. Cool. More
stickers,
even the soundtrack. It's just great. Great.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
And I've also been playing Zelda. I finally got around to Zoldor and started playing that game. And God, that is I haven't noticed any bugs as I've been playing it, like any issues. But it's a very sound game from the action standpoint, storytelling, and
frame rate gets chunky. There's no.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I'm not far enough along for it to get chunky. I'm only 2 or 3 hours in, but I'm really digging just the echo stuff. I like how the story picks up and where it throws you into as the princess, because everyone's like, oh, thank goodness, princess. Oh, you're saved. That means everything's okay. But there's a weird monster dude. But whatever. He's the most important part is you're safe, and then man, things just go off the rails at that point, which is great. But I will say I love the music that they chose in this because it has hints of classic retro Zelda games, but they're definitely doing different types of orchestration, different types of ideas in this that is even more different than, it's almost like I don't want to say a pop influence, but it's meant to give you a different mood and vibe as you're playing this game. So it's an adventuring mood.
If you really sit down and sort of like listen to the music or whatever, you can kind of see conceptually what they were doing with it, because everything's just kind of a little higher pitched.
Yes.
Everything's just a little more it's like less percussion, more stuff, and it gives it the feeling of a more feminine soundtrack. Because it's the princess, so the soundtrack is a little different. It's not the adventuring Aragorn style triumphant thing, but it doesn't but I'm not saying that in any sort of
in a bad way. No.
It's like it shows like a thought process that goes into making stuff like this, because like Link's soundtrack does not work for Zelda. So but to take Link's soundtrack and adapt it to Zelda is like that's cool stuff, and the way they adapt it to Zelda, because there's so many times you're in places and it's like I recognize this song, but it's like the beat, the tone, the tempo, and all that stuff is just like something's changed on it. Like because all the locations are very Zelda's greatest hits kind of thing going on here. So there's some interesting stuff going on.
It's by the way, just back on the horror stuff. We're talking about horror, and also I get a notification. It's like there's motion at your pool, and I look outside and there's nothing at my pool. Thank you, Ring, for freaking me out. It's raining, so when I get a big enough like raindrop falls in front
big
of the
chunky raindrop activated.
Big chunky raindrop, and it throws everything off. So so I'm playing through that. I'm gonna try to get through as much of that as I can. I know this week is the Mario Party game, so that's a fun side thing to play with the family. So I'm looking forward to that one.
I'm super stoked for that game. It is already downloaded on my Switch, ready to go.
Ready to unlock. Yeah. I always buy them physical so that I can let my nephews borrow them, and my daughter can play stuff like that on her Switch. But so that's cool. And then the one last thing that I want to bring up, thanks to your glowing review, it was on sale for like $13, $14, $15, whatever it was. I didn't realize how ridiculously small this
even with everything that I did, it's really hard to comprehend.
It's shorter than my finger, which is just, here's my middle finger. It's about the length of a pinky. There you go. It's about the length of my pinky right there. So if you look at your pinky, that's the whole controller. You can use this on your Switch, of course, but man, this is great to like throw in your pocket, throw in your backpack, take it to work, and just when you're in the middle of meetings, like I'll have my phone off the side, and I have retro. I have the Delta app going. I was kind of sit here and just kind of it's like, yeah, okay, I got Mario going right here. This looks pretty good. Yeah, Mario's doing pretty good there. So yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And it's you kind of surprised how like not bad it feels in the hands. Like it should feel like trash, but it's like
right.
all things considered, it's actually kind of
Yep.
there's a comfortable way to hold it, and because you're like, and because like the games that you'll be playing on it are definitely not you know, high energy for the most part. I don't know how I'd feel about playing Mega Man with it, but I'll see one day.
What's funny is that it shows up as Pro Controller on my
well, it depends too, because you know, if you read the instructions, there's like different, like I had it like recognize it as an Xbox 360 or an Xbox controller at one point. Like so also that kind of so I was like, what the hell? What do you mean Xbox controller? But I guess it makes sense that if you're just using normal Bluetooth as opposed to like some of the other protocols or whatever, like
no, it's awesome. And here I am already playing let's see, what will I choose here? I'm gonna select I can maybe finally play some of these games because playing touchscreen is there you go. Yeah, it's way better. I'm playing Super Mario Land. I'm just there we go. Good.
Hey man,
perfect. It's so good. It's so good.
Just download the Metal Gear Solid Game Boy Color game.
I got it. It's so good. It's so stupidly good. I on your recommendation. Well, I've been posting some of the just the great stuff that comes out of that game. Like there's so many great lines that are out of that thing. I keep screen capturing them. The writing is so freaking good.
Yeah. But it's like you would never know that Kojima had nothing to do with that.
Yep. It's so good. Anyways, cool. It's awesome. Good choice. It's red because it's connected. You can see what are you playing, dude?
Epic Mickey rebrush.
Pick it up. Okay.
Yeah. As it's it's been on the record more than one occasion.
Nice.
My Disney affinity, not infinity, affinity. And I did talk about it on our sevens panel at West. Not West.
A little
East.
of both, by the way. Yeah, you did. Yep.
Yeah.
They heard you, and then they decided to bring it back. What's the next game you're going to talk about? Yeah,
it was so funny because like I remember so well of like I wasn't really like I didn't know we were going to get to like a second one, so I wasn't really prepared with Epic Mickey stuff on that panel. So when I brought up the trade Disney did, Taylor's like, you can't just drop information like that.
Yeah.
what are you talking about? It's like Disney traded Al Michaels. Not Disney. Disney traded Al Michaels, football commentator Al Michaels, to NBC's Universal for the rights to Oswald because Disney hadn't owned Oswald since the 20s. And Universal maintained the rights to Oswald through chicanery and stuff. So Disney finally recaptured that kind of specifically for that game. Like this was just a perfect excuse to try to get Oswald back into the fold, like just to own it, like the missing piece of Disney lore that we can finally claim as our own. And this is a perfect excuse. This game looks cool. And to be fair, the game is cool. It's just the Wii was not the platform for it.
Right.
He tried very hard. Bless his soul, Warren Spector. Tried really hard to make motion controls work for Epic Mickey. And by and large, like the gameplay works with motion controls. The camera does not. It was an absolutely miserable camera. So like, and that was it. Like that game never got a re-release. Like Epic Mickey 2 came out and there was a PlayStation 3 and a PC version of Epic Mickey 2, which lets you use traditional controls, and the Wii version and Wii U versions let you use paintbrush controls or controls. So like the precedent is set that you can play this game pretty well, but this is the first time the original game you can play just through official means. People worked hard. There's mods
Yeah,
and stuff,
yeah.
download stuff, but like the designed with the idea of standard controls in mind, and like, yeah, the camera works ish now. It's never,
Works ish.
yeah, it's but just by game design alone, sometimes the camera like is just in a position that you can't really like get it just right for certain platforming, especially some of the like secret platforming sections and stuff. But I think this is a really good, solid platforming game. Always has been. It's just now it's actually playable. I got it on the Switch. It's working great on the Switch. It's a really good
And
lore.
it looks really good. The updates
It
they
looks,
made.
the updates they made. Like you can tell it was still a Wii game, but like they did the work that they put into it's pretty good. Some things kind of miss some of their like we have to do something cute with the art style because everything's going to be so low resolution. But bumping it up to high resolution, those kind of flourishes just kind of get lost in the the sea of everything. But again, as a Disney guy, this is a really exciting game because they really have a lot of fun with this sort of abandoned history of Disney, like because like Oswald obviously and the Gremlins are sort of like your guides throughout the game,
Right.
and that's another kind of like at one point those were a pretty big part of like Disney, but like they didn't make it out of World War II. They kind of only existed for like the 40s and then kind of never really held any significance. It's like, yeah, and it's just like, yeah, just a really cool like Disney theme park and movie and history tour through the broken eyes of a guy that was ignored. They did a lot of trying to make Oswald the bad guy in this, but not the bad guy.
Sort of an anti-hero type of guy, yeah.
And they try to do a lot of like the your decisions matter kind of thing.
Sure.
Do you want to paint it and bring it anew, or do you want to erase it with the thinner? And it's like, and that's not really a whole hell of a lot of effect on the overall story. But
so I played the original,
yeah,
and I forgot everything about the original.
Yeah.
I played it on the Wii way back in the day. Yeah. So I played the demo of this, and it brought back those memories, and I realized, oh my gosh, this game actually had quite a lot of stuff in it. Like
this was
a lot of collectibles. There's a lot of.
This is 100% a game made by a man
who
is obsessed with the IP that he is working with. Warren Spector is a next level like Disney fan. Like this is the man that like he owned, like as a teenager was like got like a share of Disney stock.
Sure.
Kind of thing. Like this was important to him, and the freedom that he kind of got to make it and everything. Like even though it was mostly a failure in its time, it was still a game he was proud of. I think. Unfortunately, like this and Epic Mickey 2 back to back kind of killed his career because he hasn't done anything since, and he just kind of laying out there, but he doesn't need to. I mean, it's Warren Spector. He's
never before seen areas.
Yeah, there's like new shit in this. It's kind of weird. It's like the director's cut.
Yeah.
It's a cool little game. I love it. I'll always love it. So yeah, this is obviously the only way I would ever recommend playing it.
Sure.
I would never recommend going. Like I played it on the Wii once, and as a massive Mickey fan and a fan of this game, like even that was more than enough. It does not play well on the Wii. Never did. Never will. But like it plays well here. Like they kind of switched some buttons around. I keep wanting to jump with the wrong button. Like it's like I'm gonna jump with the B button. And like no. But whatever. My brain can adapt to that.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay. I was also playing Silent Hill 2. Started playing Silent Hill 2.
Yeah. Okay. Is it the worst game ever made, or are we eating our words right now?
No, I'm so happy that Bloober Team proved me fucking wrong,
That's
man.
good. That's good.
Like there's no reason to have faith in Bloober Team, even with this.
No, right.
After hearing sort of some of the behind the scenes stuff for this game, you still shouldn't have faith in Bloober Team, because Bloober Team was just kind of the people putting the puzzle together while a bunch of other people were stamping out the pieces. Because like they had anyone that was involved in sort of the behind the scenes of getting this game up and going, and then Bloober Team was just able to successfully put it together. I would never trust a Bloober game that is strictly solely them. But like this works really well. They did it. They everything that needs to be there is there, and then some. It's a good looking game. It's scary as hell. Silent Hill 2, the original, was a game that I started playing and then stopped playing for years because I was too anxious playing it. Because Silent Hill, because the sound design is upsetting. You're in a foggy town and you're just hearing like bad stuff going on, and you know that it's not just ambiance. It's like, no, that chainsaw sounds for me, man, and maybe I've and so it's like, so they've taken that and also like upped it, because like you're wandering through and all of a sudden through the controller speaker you'll start hearing like radio crackle. And the radio crackle is to let you know that enemies are nearby, and the closer they are, the louder the radio crackle gets, and it won't silence down until you're out of their sort of range or you defeat the enemy. And boy, when you're just trying to find your next spot and all of a sudden your controller starts making a noise, it makes your heart rate just shoot up, man. It's one of those things, like, I know what happens in this game. Like, I know, like, it's like everything, but it doesn't matter. I'm still like fully invested and scared of everything that's going on. And this was absolutely the right one to remake. If you're going to remake anything, like, just skip Silent Hill 1. Silent Hill 1's a good game, but it's just kind of, the horror elements really kind of weird in it, because I don't know how deep into the weeds you are with Silent Hill at all. Did you play any of them? Have you played any of them?
No, I have the Switch. I mean, I take it back. I played the one on the Wii.
Oh, Shattered Memories, which is like,
and I've forgotten about it. Like everything.
That was kind of a remake of the first game, because the first game is like a cult game. Like Silent Hill is like, there's a whole cult storyline going on, and it's your traditional horror cult thing where it's like they have to give birth to the next devil kind of nonsense.
Right, yeah.
Which is very traditional cult BS, which is fine for like at the time. Like horror games were kind of nothing at the time. Like you had Resident Evil, you had Alone in the Dark, and a couple of other things flanking, but then you Silent Hill 1. But Silent Hill 2 takes it to another level, because it's not really doing it is 100% like a psychological horror game. It's the storyline that is playing out in it was so strictly unique in the days it came out for the PlayStation 2 era. It's a cool game, and I'm glad that this game like came together in a good way. Like I'm glad Konami didn't just let Bloober Team just make it, and because I fully believe if Bloober Team was left to make it, it would alone it would have been a mess. But that's not what happened, and that was the right choice. And we got a great, probably without beating it or going through it completely, I would say that this is probably one of the most successful attempts at a remake I've ever seen. Like it's a remake, and it does what it needs to do. It's like it maintains the heart and story while updating everything else around it, without sacrificing anything in the end. It's not trying to rewrite history either. Like as like that's I want it to be one of two ways. I want it to be like this, or I want it, or like Resident Evil 1 remake, where it's like it's the exact same game, we just added some different shit to it and it looks beautiful. And this is the same way. Like this is the exact same game, we just made it beautiful, we've added some spooky new shit to it, and here you go. Or like the Final Fantasy VII Remake, the first one, where it's like they're doing weird shit with it that they absolutely do not pay off on in the second one at all.
Don't tell me. Yeah.
But yeah, no, this game is one of the most, definitely one of the most successful remakes I've seen in quite a while.
Great.
So
it's great.
Very exciting very excited to get the courage up to deal with this bullshit again. I can't. I seriously have to just take a rest every once in a while. Like it takes a lot out of me to play this game. It genuinely upsets me.
I'm glad there are games that do that.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want.
Don't get scared. Like horror movies and stuff. Like I don't get scared. I get I'm like, oh man, or whatever. Like, but I don't get that deep sense of dread very often. And Silent Hill 2, it knows how to activate that part of my psyche, and I appreciate it. So yeah.
It's like Dead Space. The first time you play Dead Space, like the first level or so, first couple levels, areas, you go slow because the xenomorphs, whatever they are, can hop out and eat your brains and shit.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of jump scares. But then, a few hours in, you're just in there, guns blazing. Exactly how to take these motherfuckers out. And then that goes from being horror to sort of action, chase action. Whereas this looks like it's true horror from that standpoint.
Because you are an everyman in this. You're not an army guy. You're nothing. Like you never really like. It's not like you could get particularly like. There's no rocket launcher, you find in around. It's like, oh, you get a gun. Like you spend most of the beginning of the game with just a board with nails in it. Like that's sort of your. So
excellent. Cool. What else? Anything else you've been playing?
See, they got some new iPhone Disney Pixel RPG.
Oh yeah. Have you have Apple Arcade, right? Is that what it's on, or is it?
It's just a freemium game.
Oh, God. Okay.
It's just a gacha game. It's a Mickey Mouse gacha, Disney gacha. Like,
and how is it?
It's exactly the same as all of these games. If you like the idea of sort of like, I'm trying to think of like, what was that Square Enix RPG pixel, like Exodus or Exevius or whatever on phones or whatever, where it was like, it's just like, okay, they're battles going on and stuff's happening, but it's just a gotcha momentum. It's like I need to pull my next rare Mickey.
My next rare Mickey. I love it.
Yeah. It's fine. I will never spend a dime on it, but like, I will say I always like a game that lets me have it in portrait mode. Play a game in portrait mode. That's important. It's like I just want to hold the phone like this and use my single thumb to do shit. I don't want to hold it like a game controller. So it does that. So that's gets a plus for me from that alone. So
I'm writing down my next rare Mickey. It'll be the title of our episode. Excellent.
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe you can use one of these guys as you're playing
I should try.
Yeah.
I don't know if
I'm trying it on more and more. I don't have too many. Surprisingly, I don't have too many games on my iPhone.
Me neither. And nothing that is deep would I would benefit from having a physical D-pad.
Right.
I'm not going to be playing Fortnite mobile or something.
Yeah.
PUBG
whenever that comes out.
Yeah.
But cool. I'm using it right now, and I'm playing Dragon Quest 3 as I get ready for Dragon Quest 3 HD, which is coming out next month, and just like 1 month from tomorrow. Let's do it. So cool. We knocked an hour out. There'll be more stuff, more news coming out this week and next week, and oh boy, it's gonna be I have a feeling there's game releases. There's gonna be a lot of review stuff coming out because one of my embargoes actually goes up tomorrow. So I can talk about some stuff, and you got some things. Zach has a bunch of things, and
we're only doing this on Sunday because Zach told us that's when he would be available.
That's when he'd be available. Yeah, Zach likes to shift the goalposts. It's all good. And even Johnny has some stuff that he's been reviewing. So, but I keep dropping this little controller, little bar of soap in my room. I gotta buy a second. By the way, just whoever gets me for the side questing Secret Santa is probably gonna get one of these guys. Just giving you the heads up. Wish we're gonna do that again. Anywho, with that, sidequesting.com, sidequesting TV on YouTube and Twitch. Hop into the Discord in over on sidequesting, and eventually we'll get the Patreon up and running. I was looking at like the Patreon alternatives because I had heard some of the icky stuff behind Patreon and trying to figure all that out. But
just whatever excuse you can come up with.
Yeah, whatever excuse I can come up with.
Patreon up and going.
Basically. But we'll figure it out. So with that, at the_double_J at Dolly Demovsky. We'll see you on the next episode of the Side Quest.
Bye, everybody.
We salute you.
Rest in peace, Daniel Bryanson.
Rest